Hello class! Today I will be telling you about the topics that I have chosen for my informative speech and my persuasive speech. For my informative speech, I've chosen the topic of teaching. A general purpose for this is to inform my audience about teachers, and a more specific purpose is to inform my audience about the teaching profession and how teachers may use their occupation in a way that honors God and that they may share His word with others. If you see yourself as kind, caring, patient, or if you see yourself as a leader and you want to have an impact on others and future generations, then perhaps teaching is the right career for you. One reason that I chose teaching as my topic is because I have considered teaching after I get my degree. I would like to teach in middle school. In the Bible, we see that God says that you should show yourself in all respects to be a model of good works, and in your teaching show integrity, dignity, and sound speech that cannot be condemned, so that an opponent may be put to shame, having nothing evil to say about us. And that is found in Titus 2:7-8. One way that a person may benefit from an informative speech about teaching is if they were considering teaching as their career, but they weren't completely sure about how to become a teacher or the salary or the daily obligations of a teacher in their career. For my persuasive speech, I have chosen the topic of plastic waste. One reason for this, a general purpose for this, is to persuade my audience to recycle their plastic waste, and a more specific purpose for this is to persuade my audience to see that plastic waste is a major issue and that it can be confronted partly if people were to reduce, reuse, and recycle their plastic waste. Plastic waste is a social problem that may be confronted partly and in a God-honoring way if people were to reduce, reuse, and recycle their plastic waste. One reason that I chose this topic is because I believe that people are very wasteful in our society today, and I do not believe that it will be our generation that suffers from this, but it will be future generations, our children and our grandchildren. For instance, it takes a water bottle 450 years to decompose. My neighbor and I did a little experiment over the past week to see how many bottles we could collect, and as you can see, between our two households, we collected quite a bit. Since this is just between two families, obviously over the United States or over the entire world, this number would be much, much larger. So plastic waste is a major issue, and we must confront it now. In the Bible, it says that the earth and everything in it, the world and its inhabitants, belong to the Lord, and that is found in Psalm 24:1. This shows that the earth belongs to God. Everything in it belongs to God. We are only its steward and its caretakers. So we must be sure that we are taking care of also the environment, not just what we see as important in the world. And one way that we can take care of the environment, not just for our generation, but also for future generations, is to reduce, reuse, and recycle our plastic waste. One way that someone in the audience may benefit from a speech about plastic waste is because plastic waste is unavoidable in our society. It's something that everyone will use in their lifetime, so it's a major issue, and if people were to reduce, reuse, and recycle their plastic waste, it would be just one more step in the right direction of getting rid of this problem.